Check 1, 2. This is Jay Moore with the New Old Heads, and this is episode number 490. On this episode, we talked about Soulja Boy starting a rapper university, Jay-Z getting backlash for releasing an exclusive record in Target, Lord Jamar going on a Hip Hop-style Jubilee, and more. Support the show and get our uncut 2-hour episode without ads by becoming a $5 Patreon or YouTube member. Please make sure you click the bell and turn on notifications. See you in the comments. Check 1, 2. You know what it is. Episode number 490 of the New Old Heads podcast. Just got to go ahead and say hello to my fellas in the building right now. DJ J Diff, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. Salutations to you, sir.
Okay. Right next to him is, like I said, he's not a guest at this point at all. He is just another one of the panelists here. Many opinions. Brother to the night, how are you?
I'm swell, good brother. How are you?
I can't complain. Even if I did, nobody want to hear it. Also, right next to me, can't forget about my man Longevity. How are you doing, sir?
Doing all right, man.
All right.
How are you?
I'm doing well. You know, it's kind of chilly for this part of the year.
It is.
So you know, I was like, okay, this is a hockey jersey I have not worn. So this is probably the last time I'll get to wear a hockey jersey until fall. So I'm just taking advantage.
Fair enough.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And shout out to the Gobinator. He's over in the director's chair.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm pretty good.
That's what I like to hear.
Soulja Boy has apparently become a professor and a dean.
Okay.
A dean.
Hey,
Did he start this university?
I don't know.
I think he's working with Dr. Umar.
Because he's the first rapper to ever have a university.
And yeah, yeah. Well, he said in the trailer, I believe, I'm the first rapper to be a professor and be a dean is what he said. But
A dean of what?
I don't know, the university, Rapper University. So he's unveiled a trailer for his Rapper University.
Whoa. That's the name of the school.
To me, it sounds like he's, go
It's a
ahead
mockery.
and do your thing, man.
Yeah, according to the website, prospective applicants must upload a 1-minute YouTube audition explaining why they should be selected. The application extends beyond artists and welcomes producers, creators, teachers, mentors, guest judges, managers, promoters, and other industry-related roles. Very much on the heels of Kai Cenat's rug pull with
That's
Streamer
where I was going.
University, you know. But there's a quick little, let's watch this. I cut the trailer up a little bit, but, you know, it's definitely like 2 minutes, but here's a small part of it.
Ain't none of that regular cafeteria shit. Yeah, I'm a hibachi, Big Dave's, Waffle House, American Deli. I need y'all to build y'all brand.
We don't just teach music, we teach confidence, we teach branding, we teach marketing, we teach hustle, and most importantly, we teach you how to bet on yourself. You ready to stop dreaming and start building? Then go apply right now. It's your boy Soulja Boy. I want to see you on campus at Rapper University, where ambition graduates.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, this is one of the greatest cash grabs I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to be successful, unfortunately.
Me
too.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So let's just kind of get right into it. Should artists look at this as a gimmick or as a useful tool in 2026? Why or why not?
Now, it depends if this is and I hate to say it, if this is a streamable or like this is going to be on some form of television or YouTube, it can be beneficial for whoever it is deciding to do.
Just because of the spectacle of the fire that's happening.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
And it's very much in the same vein of Drewski's could have been.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I was thinking.
But hell, you're probably going to pay to be a part of this. You know what I mean? So I'm going to bring some money in, and I'm going to give you a platform, I guess. Especially if somebody is successful from this. Hell, I thought Jermaine Dupri was tripping with that the whatever rap the show that he had.
The kids.
Yeah, but Lotto came from that. You know what I mean? So
He also said at the end of the trailer something like, check out more at twitch.tv/Soulja Boy or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
he's about to make a bag off of this.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same play that all the celebrities and everybody that are doing that aren't already in the streamer game. The thing that Soulja Boy has that the other people don't is he is one of the first people that made money off of YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But can you say he's the most lucrative person on YouTube from his current content? Nah, you can't really say that. But he is a recognizable figure.
He was in the right place at the right time doing the right thing.
Exactly.
That's what that was.
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, this is going to net him more revenue than anybody else. Somebody else might get a couple viral moments they can push on their own socials and things of that nature. You might be viral for a week or two, or, you know, I mean, it's the same play that everybody is doing, and it only makes sense for him to do it. I get it, but as if I'm comparing his situation to what Kai Cenat opportunity is with actually getting people together that have made it in the streaming business and putting them in the same areas to kind of bounce off each other and then create more content and lead to, you know what I'm saying, more financial gain, that makes sense. But with Soulja Boy, it might and it might not. I don't know. I hate to be the neighborhood hater tonight because I already said I don't believe in what Dame Dash got going on. I don't believe in what Soulja Boy got going on either, because who has he put on?
Exactly.
And all this time, the
A-Rap?
he didn't put A-Rap on. A-Rap
was not up next.
Yeah.
A-Rap disappeared before that first album left the shelves.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he hasn't put anybody on.
What do you think, Jay?
I mean, I think it's Soulja Boy is a name. He's a brand, whether or not you enjoy his music at all or not. And I think there are people who are going to listen to. I think at this point, his interviews and some of his viral moments are a lot more popular than his music. You know, him saying Drake, and he's like, he stole my whole flow. This, that, and the third. Those are things that people remember. And the thing, whenever he says, like, I was the first to do this, I was the first to do that. And people give credibility to those things, whether they're valid or not.
Yeah.
So I don't know, to see Soulja Boy with this, you know, he's got his teeth shining. You know, that's something that draws people in. People are going to get excited about sort of things like that.
I got another question.
That looked like a real cheap ass grill to me.
Well, I'm not going to judge his grill.
I am.
You know, I'm just saying, you know, Soulja Boy has cultural cachet that maybe we don't recognize, but there are people who do.
Yeah.
Look.
So in similar to Kai Cenat, is this, and this kind of goes off kind of what Terry was saying, is this the proper way to build a career around this, or is it just a bastardization of the educational system in a way that can structurally build the tools, and you could almost extend it to streamer university?
I think it kind of goes both ways, honestly. I think it worked for those that have already set a foundation. I don't think anybody that's going to one of these situations and have yet to start doing anything that is ever going to be beneficial for them.
I agree.
Like with the Kai Cenat thing, you have to like submit like a video. You have to somewhat know what you're doing. I seen Keith Lee trying to be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? He's very successful in the game. So
I don't think he was trying to submit to be a part of.
He's trying to submit to kind of be one of the instructors,
yeah,
so
something
to speak.
like that or something.
Yeah. So I mean, you're surrounding yourself with people that are successful in this area. With Soulja Boy, I mean, I can't really put my finger on anything that he could teach you to do in today's day and age. I remember he had a video game system that was just a knockoff shit from China. Same thing Ray J be doing. He just bringing stuff over, slapping his name on it. He had some yums at one point in time.
Boo-boo.
Yeah. I mean, Soulja Boy is just one of those characters. He's funny. He's going to entertain you himself, but I don't see that leading to anything for anybody else. Just like the Drewski situation. It's funny, but nobody has gotten on from Could Have Been Records. And if you don't know that when you go to audition for Could Have Been Records, that nothing's going to happen as far as actually being on a record label, then you're lost in the sauce, essentially.
Yes and no. It can.
Somebody got signed and actually put out something. That's
I'm not
what
saying
I'm talking
that.
about.
I'm just saying it depends on that individual's hustle, what you do with whatever you get from that point. You can make some money for a moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I would say that the only strength, and this was a question, but I think we all agree with this, the only strength value in participating in this is really the name of the creator and what you do with that moment.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I wouldn't expect to go to streamer university or rap university and actually learn anything that I actually need.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for connections.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
Or people's, like looking at me. And from that perspective, like as an educator, it does feel like a bastardization. In a way.
That's exactly what it is. You know what I mean? You're not, but those relationships can go a long way.
Sure.
If you know what you're doing. You know what I mean?
You know what you're doing.
If you know what you're doing. So,
yeah.
If this wasn't your end goal, because a lot of people's unfortunate goal is to just be
to be
on something
that.
like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of, to me, like, even like when you think about Flavor of Love, people was going on there trying to get famous, so to speak, to date Flavor Flav.
Yeah.
But honestly, how many people can you name from that show right now?
Flavor Flav.
I can name a couple.
Well, I mean, because a couple of those girls did wind up in King magazine, which was the pinnacle of what you were probably going to get at that time.
Years ago.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you know, delicious.
I ran into one of them at a pool party in LA back then.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, if that's what you're calling making it for that moment, yeah. I mean, I guess that's successful, but did it lead to a lucrative career to where that was what set them off?
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it. I hate the idea that it's being conflated with like
Talent.
learning. Well, that obviously, but just
putting university on it.
Putting university on there or anything it's like, no, it's just like this big reality TV thing.
Exactly.
With a bunch of people that are like focused around the same type of thing. And, you know, it's leading people in the wrong direction. And I come across this on a regular basis because I teach young musicians, you know, and there's so much that goes into it that this is just, from my opinion, this is the luck side of it. This is like, sure, grind, sure, do these things, sure, you have to get lucky, but, you know, luck is, you know, what happens when preparations meet opportunity, as Seneca says, or I guess Spider-Man, depending on who you are. But like, yeah, it rubs me wrong, like just to kind of prop it in this type of like, come, you know, be a part of this because you're gonna get these gems that's gonna, you know, help you for the rest of your life and all this other stuff. Like, and I know that, and I'm just saying, like, to Terry's point, like, you should know when you're going into it, but that's not how they're selling it. And I feel like we have a lot of people that are, especially younger people, obviously, that are a part of this, that are just going to be, it's just furthering the wrong message.
No, because to them, okay, I'm not I'm not going to college, but I'm going to go to Streamer University. This is going to be the next step that brings me into my actual adult life. And I don't want anyone to think that this is a real thing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to discourage anybody who has some great idea or is, you know, says, oh, I'm going to be the next Kai Cenat or Keith Lee or whomever. But honestly, the chances are you doing that are very slim.
Yeah, this isn't like me praising like universities and, you know, and things of that nature. It's just there's a proper way to go through and to learn. Like this is not it.
You know, I don't think one of the things that they're teaching is, you know, how to properly use editing tools and lighting and all. I don't know, but I don't think that's part of it. I think they're more or less, hey, this is how you go viral. This is how you engage an audience. And I'm not saying that those aren't.
That's a way to make money,
If that's how you're trying to make money, okay, cool. But at the same time, you have to have a situation to where, like, okay, on a technical level, you're presenting something that isn't just trash.
Yeah, like how are they vetting the people that, you know, I know, again, I know I'm taking it to the extreme, but how are they vetting the people that are teaching the things? How are they?
That's a good question.
How are they, you know, where's this info? How are you not setting up another generation to just fail while you just profit off of them?
Yeah.
Like, is this the next? And I don't know too much about it, but is this the new version of? Remember when Full Sail University, when that was a thing, and it's like, oh, you can learn music production and this, that, and the third, and it's like, I'm pretty sure that, and like they could still be open. I don't know.
I think they are.
And you could just be taking money from people and getting them to take out student loans. And you're not really setting them up for any type of success in the future.
Yeah, I've had students that went to Full Sail. Actually, you know, a lot of them. A lot of people I know. I mean, but it's more of like a mixing and mastering type thing.
Okay,
but still,
I don't even want to compare it to Full Sail because at least there's an actual curriculum there.
It is. I think that don't really make sense for anybody unless you actually going down to Florida. Like if you in Florida where they have all of the infrastructure, where they can put you with,
They can set you up with the Pro Tools and all that.
not even that, they can set you up with producers, and you can build relationships with people that are actually in the industry.
Yeah.
That's the only way it really makes sense to go to something like that. You know what I mean? But they have online courses where you can do everything they do online, but that'll help you learn the engineering part, but it didn't put you in the industry.
And don't get me wrong, there are levels to it, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I literally have built a course around this stuff. That's not a university, you know. Shouts to Academics, one of our partners, right? And the DJ stuff, who, you know,
I'm a product.
yeah, you know, and I've taken the DJ course, and I literally built the production course there. And so, like, it's built by people that literally are in the industry and of the industry and navigate it in that particular type of way. And I think there's ways to do it. That's why I like the Full Sail thing. Like, I don't know exactly. I know it's more for mixing and mastering. I know a lot of people that have been through there. I've heard mixed things from there. And I think it's based upon the expectations that people have when they go there, because it became this cultural thing to, like, well, I'm going to be, because I'm 43. So back when I was young, it was like, well, what is the path to become a professional musician as a music producer or a hip hop person or something of that? And it was just like, well, these courses didn't exist like in universities. So it was like, but Full Sail existed. So you can maybe just go to Full Sail. And I feel like there are a lot of people that went to Full Sail and then nothing materialized because people had these expectations going into it, not understanding that you're just it's like a trade school. You're learning a trade to go there. And so, you know, I feel like it does get the bad rap because it has so many people that went there that wanted something that didn't get out of it. But I know a lot of people that did go there and did get
And actually learn something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so you just have to kind of understand what you're getting yourself into. And that's, and in the classes that I teach, that's the one thing that I say up. That's the very first day of class. Is like, look, this is what you're going to learn. This is the path that I'm going to set you on. And in 10 to 12 months, you are not going to be the greatest version of yourself. And it's just setting you and giving you the structure to become that if you continue to apply yourself based upon the stuff that you have. And so maybe from that perspective, Streamer University is going to be something to that degree based upon the relationship aspects and maybe some of the stuff. So I said Streamer University, but Rapper University, I have less faith in Rapper University than I do Streamer University.
Yeah,
And
that's
saying a
kind
lot.
of where I'm at.
But like, you know, don't get me wrong, Mickey Fax has a school related to like teaching people how to rap and stuff like that, or something to that degree. You know, so I think it can be done by, but I would rather go to a Mickey Fax school for about hip hop and rap than Soulja Boy. I'm just saying. Mickey Fax is an actual MC, you know.
Yeah.
Depends on what you're looking for.
Well, again, if you're looking for the educational aspect of like, I want to know how to rap. I want to understand how do I put bars together as opposed to how do I capitalize off of, you know,
Catchiness.
virality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, so to me, it's like laying the fundamentals so that like you do one before you do the other. That's the way that it's supposed to be, you know, from an educational standpoint. You get good at the thing. And the way that I teach is like learn the thing so that then you can break the rules. But if you don't know the thing before you break the rules, then you're kind of out here looking crazy.
That depends though, because who's to say that Soulja wasn't good at what he did? He did it more than once.
He was good at what he did because he had so much virality. But nobody.
We talking about songs that have lasted.
He got some songs that stayed.
Yeah, he got songs that have lasted for some time.
Sure.
But the thing about that is, to me,
Depends on your metric.
Now, are they? Is he the best rapper? No. But
he is the
he knows how to make a song
he
that
is the
will
exception.
stay.
He
hasn't done that in a minute though. So
last time he did it was COVID.
What did he make in COVID?
That Make It Clap with the whistle. I saw it firsthand.
All right. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
he's a Soulja Boy,
but again,
I don't personally see him being able to teach
Him and
somebody how to
Lotto.
do that.
you have to look at that stuff with a grain of salt because like the virality piece is you almost can't judge Soulja Boy's virality because he's already popular at that point. So it's going to be easier for him to pop no matter. And I hope that he's better than he was 15 years ago. You know what I mean? Like you're supposed to be, but like
He was probably better then.
you think so?
Yeah.
That's saying a lot.
COVID was 7 years ago.
I'm talking about 2007 is what I'm talking about.
Me too. I'm talking. He's probably better then.
Yeah.
Drugs has really done a number on our guy.
But in general, when we speak about in general, like we can't, from my perspective, you can't make standards based upon the exception.
Okay.
And Soulja Boy is an exception. And you know, he has a couple records that were really massive, and I don't want to take that away from him. You know, he did what he did. But like most people that are going to go to Rapper University you're not going to be able to do what Soulja Boy did. Like you can't teach that. Like you can't teach what he did because he got lucky. At the end of the day, sure, you can say he had a hit and all this stuff. That I'm not taking that away from him, but if he dropped that same record in 2026, it's not doing anything because it's so saturated with that. And granted, I think he had a part of kind of creating that lane in a way, which he's a legend, but it's also like the nature of where we are in society to where like, I feel like the people that are going to stand out are the people that are, you know, you're either going to chase the virality forever, or you're going to get yourself a solid foundation and be good at the stuff and also at the same time chase. So I don't know.
Or you actually have a talent that you want to nurture. And I feel like that people that feel like they already know how to rap and have a talent to do so aren't even trying to go to Soulja Boy's school or whatnot. If they're doing it, it's for the exposure piece only.
That's it.
That maybe somebody might see me doing this, but I ain't trying to learn nothing from Soulja Boy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As somebody that could actually rap.
No, absolutely. No, it's just like you're utilizing it for what it is. So let's just call it what it is. It's just
Nothing wrong with that.
yeah. God bless.
Yep.
So Jay-Z kicked off his celebration for the 30th anniversary of Reasonable Doubt and 25th anniversary of The Blueprint with the Roots Picnic performance. But he's unearthed previously unreleased records for DSPs, and now he's readying to drop an exclusive vinyl for Reasonable Doubt, and it's going to be at Target. There's been a very long boycott of Target for, man, how far back does it go?
I don't know.
Since
It was
Trump's inauguration.
Yeah,
Since
basically.
the DEI stuff
Yeah, the
started
rollback
happening.
of DEI.
So maybe 2 years,
Yeah. So
year and a half.
considering Target's DI history with boycotts, are people who see this partnership as negative overreacting?
I think so. When you go to Target,
If you do,
I don't.
and the thing is, like, I went in there because I need something specifically from Target, and I was like, man, I didn't want to do it, but let me just go in here. I'm gonna go in and go out. Man, it was all type of folks in there.
yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute, I've been holding it down this entire time, and y'all just didn't care.
That's how it is, though.
That's how it is. And then, like, you know, and then apparently, you know, I don't know what he really has to do with this. You know, the whole Jamal Bryant thing was saying, okay, well, you know, we done with that for right now. And I was like, well, did we resolve anything?
No.
You know, and so do I think it's a problem that Jay-Z is selling product in Target among other places? I mean, I want to say yes, but honestly, no. I mean, because, you know, when they put out D'Angelo's album, I'm not sure if it was.
It's at Target.
It was at Target and it sold out. And I guess I know who was in there buying it.
Come
It's
on
the same
now.
people who I thought wasn't going in there. They were all up in there when I went in.
But isn't it about the fact that it's exclusively at Target?
No, so there's two versions.
Okay.
So the white vinyl version is exclusively at.
Okay. But
You
that's
don't-
still exclusive, though.
I mean, yeah.
I mean,
but you can still
everybody's heard Reasonable Doubt before.
you can
I
still
mean,
go buy it in another record store. It's just not going to be vinyl. So
Like, you can still
so
go
what
to
I'm
indie
saying
CD
is,
and vinyl and buy it.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's more. So it's dropping at Target and it's dropping everywhere else as well.
So what is the exclusivity part with
It's just
Target?
a white vinyl.
So just the white specifically portion is at Target.
That's it.
Mhm.
Where was the other place you said you can go?
You can go to indie CD and vinyl.
Yeah.
Get all your physical
Great
media
guys.
needs.
All
Yeah.
of that, man.
And ladies.
Get your vinyl.
So again, back to the question, are people who see this partnership as negative overreacting?
No, I don't believe so. You know what I mean? Just because there's been a history of Jay, quote unquote, circumventing the movement.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
It's like 1 foot in, 1 foot out type thing.
Yeah. So it's like, damn, again, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, it's like, you know,
It's lining your pockets, but us.
Yep.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, I see where you're coming from.
So, like,
And how much does it really hurt him to just say no? Like, even if Target sues him, He's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
Would it really hurt for him to sell it everywhere else but Target?
His
Exactly.
family has a history. Well, not necessarily his direct family, but his married into family has a history with Target as well. Like as far as his mother-in-law and Destiny's Child, Beyonce, they all have had relationships with Target in the past. I think that may be one of the reasons why he's actively working with him. I don't know, but personally, am I upset with Jay for doing this? I mean, it just seems like something that when I look at capitalistic Jay-Z, it makes absolute sense.
That's the only way to look at Jay.
That makes absolute sense. But when I think about the people that are mad, a lot of people that are mad at Jay-Z are always mad at Jay-Z.
Yeah.
And it's like every time something happens, they're trying to figure out a way to make it stick. So we talked about the Epstein situation, would happen to be anybody can call in and say anything on a phone line, right? Okay, so now all of a sudden he's included in the Epstein's files. Everybody that with common sense knows he was not dealing with Epstein in 1996. Okay, that was one. The whole Diddy shit. He was friends with Diddy, but he was not, you know what I'm
He's
saying?
industry friends with Diddy.
Right, he wasn't involved in that shit, and it was a false claim. It was false. The lady came out and couldn't even.
Oh, you talking about the stuff with Busby?
Yeah.
No, you can't hold that.
Well, I can't
Diddy
know,
stuff
but I'm
to
trying to make
Jay.
a point. I'm trying to make a point here because every time Jay is associated with something, the same people that are mad at him are mad again because they want something to be wrong with this man because he's
A
successful.
lot of Jaguar rights out there.
Exactly. It's a whole bunch of them, and me just being a part of the social network and seeing things, and you know when you search one thing, a whole bunch of shit pops up. There's a lot of people that feel that way that want him to be guilty of something.
When there's smoke, there's fire.
Nah, not necessarily. Not all the time.
I mean, what this is the thing.
Because you have to tell me where the fire is at.
With that,
With what? With you have to specifically say where the fire is at.
underage stuff.
What underage stuff?
stuff?
That whole Busby story is very far fetched. But if you want to speculate, you know what I mean? Like, what age did Jay and Beyonce really link up?
I mean, I don't know, man. We don't know these people. That's what I'm saying.
But
we don't know that.
Speculation.
I'm not here to speculate.
And
But
I'm only
a
saying
lot of people are. That's why a lot of this shit gets mixed up in speculation because one person says it. Now I'm speculating, and I really don't know.
and truth be told, it ain't really none of my motherfucking business.
Yeah. But I can't say I can't say when I start seeing it happen.
They weren't.
She wasn't a kid. She wasn't a kid when I seen it
you know
happen.
what I mean?
Woody Allen married his stepdaughter or something,
Well,
right?
She was like 14.
But it's the same principle.
Yeah.
Same principle.
You know,
but
like-
what I'm saying is, whenever the whole Jay-Z Beyonce situation happened,
Only reason I'm saying that is because, you know, you got Damon J with Aaliyah, which she was probably significantly younger than him when he met her. Foxy, which she was significantly younger than him when they was messing around. If they was messing around.
Yeah, even Foxy said that
she's
wasn't true.
debunked
Okay.
it.
So, I mean, to Terry's point, I mean, it is a lot of speculation of stuff that we don't know with not a lot of confirmed sources with anything. And the only thing that people can really kind of lean to is this, the speculation around Jay and Beyonce, and they're married.
And all you got to do is go back and look and see when they were married or how old they were at the time where they started dating.
There's no real knowledge of that.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about?
Yeah.
But back to that, you know,
but back-
because go ahead.
No, I mean, but I can see where people are upset with Jay or want to call him to the carpet because it's like, okay, we tried to boycott Target, but now you're going to have your product in Target. We had this whole thing with the NFL where we wasn't really rocking with the NFL, and here you are, you're going to program their Super Bowls. And, I think one of the things, and I've talked about this before, the one thing that I think is going to always come back and haunt Jay-Z is when he said, we're past kneeling.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like, I think George Floyd happened like that same year after he said that. It was a situation to where, okay, man, like, I get where you're coming from, but you're also in a rich man's bubble.
Yeah. And not only that, you stand to gain from this, collaboration.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason you saying this is because you getting something out of this.
Let's debunk another thing real quick too,
Okay.
because or let's discuss it, and it's related to that kind of because, I mean, I saw a post where somebody had a picture of Drake, J. Cole, and Future all also selling in Target at the same time, and the question was posed: does that also suggest that they are also ops, or does the exclusive? My question is: does the exclusivity and what Jay is doing specifically by pointing people to go there make it different?
That's the thing. You know what I mean? Because everybody's albums are going to sell in Target if you behind a label or whatever.
If it's part of the thing.
Yeah, if you behind a major label, they're going to sell your product in Target. It's not like they're going to exclude themselves. But when you create a deal where, look, this is only going to be released exclusively at Target, then it's a problem. But isn't Tabitha Brown stuff still at Target?
Yeah, she said to not stop going to Target.
Yeah, so
Selective outrage.
Yeah.
I was trying to kind of put everything together, and then we got stuck on that one point.
yeah,
I was trying to kind of circle it back around.
I think the thing with that though is it's very easy to use that as a distraction. It's
Yeah.
very easy to like see what Jay-Z is doing here. This specific thing that he's doing, where he is undermining the protest of Target by doing this specifically, and because of the people that criticize Jay in general, you are automatically caught off guard, and kind of in a way you start defending Jay-Z because of everything else, not necessarily what this particular thing is. And I see a lot of times that conversation becomes louder than the thing that we should probably continue to talk about. You know what I mean? And from my perspective, Jay has always classified himself as like the business mogul of hip hop, and to, be, and people look at him as like this capitalistic god, if you will, in relations to hip hop and success. And the thing that I continue to pose is, when you cozy up to the thing that is at odds with the culture, are you still in line with the culture?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said with that because, I mean, I myself fall victim to not necessarily boycotting everything that's supposed to be boycotted.
Sure.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I would seem like a hypocrite if I'm upset that a capitalistic billionaire rapper decided to put his album in Target.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't necessarily agree with that motion or notion, but I'm not at fault. I'm not faulting him for it because it's exactly who he is at the end of the day. It's the whole accumulation of the other things that people, point their figure out, and then just be like, oh, here's something, and I know this is going to stick, and this is why I don't like him. You said you didn't like him a long time ago when all that other shit wasn't sticking. I mean, I actually went and got Jackson's birthday gift. That Michael Jackson album is a Target exclusive. So are we mad at Michael Jackson's estate now for putting their album in there?
Sure.
All right. Well,
I mean, I think it's so easy to get distracted with that, though. I mean, I think we do live inside. Here's another piece too with this, and I give us in general, people living in the United States, a little bit of bail because we are existing in a capitalist system, and it is impossible for us to completely reject it wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
We have to exist in it. So there's a little bit of bail there, but we can. I put more fault in that situation on the estate. I put more fault on Jay-Z than I do the people that are going to go to Target to buy it, because that's the only place that you can go.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is the thing that I get why it's different, but no one says, "Hey, Taylor Swift, you see what's going on over here? Why are you selling?"
To my point, though, that is exactly what I was saying about the thing Terry was doing.
Yeah.
Is it completely pivots and puts the conversation somewhere else to deflect responsibility.
And the thing is, I don't want to do that. But
I agree with you.
But it's just always like the onus on some sort of morality when it comes to
black.
When it comes to this sort of thing, all goes into black artists. It's like we don't hold anybody else, even the people who claim to be allies. We don't ever say, "Hey, don't get your money." We'll say, but we'll tell Jay-Z, it's like, "Hey, you don't do that." We'll tell, Snoop had a roll out with that a sequel to The Chronic none of us liked. All at Target. And it was a situation to where, like, I get it, but at the same time, like I said, I felt bad. I remember feeling bad. I had not gone to Target for a good year and a half. And I felt bad that I had to go in there and get this one thing. And then while I looked around and I was like, well, did nobody hold the line?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did. I haven't been back. But I mean,
you know, I could see where you would feel a certain kind of way. I mean, the same way I felt a certain kind of way when I walked in there and I was like, well, damn, y'all just didn't care at all.
I think from one perspective too, and maybe it's easy for me to say this too, right? But I think from one perspective, it's like, you know, like the things that we want to see society as a lot of times is so far removed from what society is that the regular quote unquote normies or the people that are just, you know, let me just go to Target or let me just go to, they're not thinking about it. They don't care about it. You know, there's no disruption happening. I almost feel like the onus does need to be put on the people that do care to hold the line to that degree. And I do think, yes, I do think it's the white allies, but I also think at the same time, like, it's really everybody, you know, like that wants to stand for that should probably follow through with it. So,
or it should be a lot louder the whole time that it's going down, especially before something like this happens. It should be still voiced that certain individuals, you decide you don't rock with Target, so be it. That's cool. I'm not going to just not with you because you go
Sure.
to Target from here or there.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Go get you a T-shirt or something.
Yeah.
I'm not really tripping on you for that because it boils down to having to boycott literally everything that we consume.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, we shouldn't be using Amazon. We shouldn't be using TikTok.
The damn sure shouldn't be at Walmart.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I will say I don't shop at Walmart.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't shop at Walmart.
Typically, but I have.
All these apps that we use on our phone, YouTube.
That's why I say it's impossible to
Instagram, you know what I'm saying?
to distance yourself from capitalism and the companies because we're in like this tech feudalism type thing right now. But like, but I guess the only pushback that I would have to Jay, because I agree with what Jay's saying, the only real pushback is kind of what I said is just like if there aren't people that are holding that line to some degree, then it just kind of gets lost. And then it's like, well, like, do we just kind of like, all right, well, I guess everybody's doing it. Or do we, where is that line at? You know, like, where is that line?
Honestly, I think people, because again, like I'm saying, you can't boycott everything because you would literally have a brick phone at this point. If you have a certain number of things that you don't rock with those things. But you can't sit back and say that you ain't rocking with everything you're not supposed to be rocking with. You know what I'm saying? That's my whole thing. You can't put somebody else at fault if you're making your super mad video and posting it on freaking Facebook and or X, so to speak, you know what I'm saying, that the ops own. Mm-hmm. And they're still getting money off of this situation. And you're trying to hold the line on this corporation that doesn't even have as much money as this corporation. Yeah. So it's like you're picking and choosing. Okay, I know we shouldn't rock with them either, but I got to use this because it's making me money. So now you look the exact same way as a Jay-Z that put his album in Target because he put it in Target because it's making him money.
Yeah, I saw this quote recently, and it's very relative to this, and it was, be kind to people, be ruthless to systems. Mm. And I think that's kind of like what I'm trying to get at, is like, to me, in this scenario, even the Taylor Swift, whomever is a part of putting this record, Jay-Z's a part of it. He okayed it at the end of the day.
He did.
He's a part of the system at that point. And I feel like it's okay for people to be essentially kind of ruthless towards him in that particular manner because he is continually pushing that in that particular direction. And there maybe it is a little bit more skewed in these particular types of situations towards black creators or black artists and people in general because of the way that the entire system is set up. And because in general, it's usually black people and minorities that are trying to fight to fix the system in general. So it makes sense that that white people, when they look at that from that lens, that they're, they can give Taylor Swift a pass, but they won't give Jay-Z a pass. Like it's because it's expected of Taylor Swift to do that. It's expected of certain people to do that. So sometimes it looks a little different when you look at a Jay-Z who says he's presenting as one thing, but then he does something else. It's such a stark contrast where Taylor Swift isn't that. She's just It's like Caitlin Clark out here, you know. She's
just-
going to Morgan Wallen concerts and nobody gives, you know, there's no pushback.
Yeah, nobody
you know?
gives a about whatever she does. But in this
there was some outrage.
There was. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I don't want to get distracted, but like I'm just saying in general, like we're not talking about it anymore. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think in what Target is doing, this could be their situation where they're using it to try to get more people to come back.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's system type situations, and honestly, if we want to keep it a buck, that's the whole reason they had certain items in their store to begin with. It wasn't necessarily because they was standing on the line with folks or with black people. It's because they knew it would be lucrative for them because nobody else was doing it.
Yep.
You know, so I mean, at the end of the day, it's a corporate America grab, and Jay-Z is part of it. He happens to be a successful black male, so he's going to be looked at through a lens more finely than anybody else. And unfortunately, he keeps catching a whole lot of strays.
Well, another hard truth is you said nobody's talking about Caitlin Clark. In the next couple of weeks, in the next 2 weeks, nobody's going to be talking about this.
True. That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like it's just outrage for the moment.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks, everybody's going to forget about it.
You are now listening or watching the New Old Heads podcast. Our official 1-hour episode is released every Saturday at noon Eastern, where we share our exclusive uncut 2-hour episode to our YouTube members and Patreon members early every Wednesday. The show is brought to you by Coleman Dental, Indie City and Vinyl, Decademics, and Bringing Down the Band. And most importantly, you. You can support the show directly by becoming a member at patreon.com/newoldheads, where we embrace the new, respect the old, and remain ahead. All right, so Lord Jamar went on a Hip Hop-style Jubilee recently. The Quiet Part Out Loud TV and The Stop have recently released this video that is essentially like a new school versus old school style debate where it's Jubilee, so it's just Lord Jamar who's old school versus everybody else. So we're going to check out some of his statements or his claims, watch it, and then we'll just discuss and see what we think about it.
My first claim is that my generation of hip hop was for black people and the community. Your generation of hip hop is for white people and the corporations. In my day, you would never have a black artist, right, who rhymes like, "Oh my God, I'm so sad. I love you and like that's some trying to cater to white people shit. Tell me I'm wrong.
So apparently black people don't have emotions, but let's keep it moving from there. So that's his first claim. Lord Jamar's generation was for the community. New generations is for corporations and white people.
I think he's right.
Yeah, I mean, not completely, but you know, I can agree that it's for corporations. White people do play a part in the corporations as well.
Sure.
But some of that is the evolution of the music as well. Like rock and roll didn't sound like it did in the 90s like it did in the 80s. You know what I mean? Like Fall Out Boy, there was nobody that sounded like Fall Out Boy in the 80s or the 70s. It just, that's what it evolved into. You know what I mean? Like, so that emo music that came out in the 90s and the 2000s.
Yeah.
That was just the evolution of the music at the time. So that is the evolution of hip hop.
It also has a lot to do with the channels that we had to watch and consume to even hear rap music. So we were exposed to a lot of different genres in order to just get to the genre or listen to the music that we wanted to hear. Now, I do agree with him as far as it being, what do you say, corporate or for white folks at this point in time. That is what it evolved into as well, because the white folks and other people that own these record companies were employing these black artists with one goal in mind. It wasn't necessarily to get their point across, the messages they were bringing in this music. It was to line their pockets. So it's kind of actually always been in the same general area as far as being corporate. It just, once it became very lucrative, more people wanted a piece of the pie. And now it's to the point where it's being advertised a whole lot more to white America, with the whole reason of it being a corporate monetary gain. So yeah, I can kind of G for that.
Well, I just remember there was a time when anytime they tried to incorporate hip hop into anything corporate, it always came off as super corny. Like when I think about
Fred
Flintstone, and like every time there's always somebody who tries to rap, they always break out with the Barney Rubble like kind of cadence. I mean, did a thing today. I love Fruity Pebbles in a major way, and it's always that shit. And then there was like the I remember they did Joe Piscopo had a thing. It was like for Miller Lite, don't stop me now, I'm on a roll. And I look at it, I was like, that shit was terrible. And at one point, like this really was for the community. It was almost like if you were a white person and you said you liked hip hop and you weren't outside of maybe the Northeast somewhere, people thought you were weird. There were of course always white hip hop fans, people who were into the culture. But quite honestly,
young black teenagers.
There wasn't enough of them to where people thought, okay, well maybe we can sell cheeseburgers with this shit. Like. And so there really was a situation where it was like, no, we want the authentic. If we're going to sell this, we're going to sell what the quote unquote authentic black experience. And that's about as far as we're going to be able to take it. It wasn't really until later in the 80s and 90s to where it was like, oh, well, maybe we can, put this on here. And, because if we're going to do a Fresh Fest or Budweiser Superfest, like we're not advertising in those white areas. We're advertising in the same areas to where maybe only the black radio station is going to cover. We're only going to be in the places where, okay, well, the same liquor stores they're selling King Cobra, maybe that's where we're going to sell the ticket. Like I hate to be that, but I remember that era,
St. Ides,
to where like, and this is even before St. Ides. I just remember to where like white kids might like a rap song here or there, but it wasn't something you could sell to them wholesale like you can now. And now part of it was like, look, you got to remember there were the powers that be weren't even sure how you could sell this to black kids. Because if you were, there were radio stations that were supposed to be, quote unquote urban radio stations or geared towards the black audience.
They wouldn't play.
And they wouldn't play hip hop. You might get a little bit of time on Friday and Saturday night. If you heard a rap song during the day, it was special. And this is the 80s. I remember that I tell people
the
like
90s.
That
90s. I remember North Central had a radio station that would play hip hop on Fridays.
So to now everything is like, it's a wide spectrum now, and it's like, okay, when so-and-so comes out with an album, we're going to try to sell this to everybody. There was a time where it was like, look, we don't even know. People who, quote-unquote, were the black professionals, there was a lot of still respectability politics going on at that time. And it was like, I remember there was a station in St. Louis that would take the rap out of a song. Or if they couldn't take it out, they just wouldn't play the song. Like they took the rap out of Black and White by Michael Jackson.
Was doing that in the late 90s. I mean, there's versions of the Cases song that has Foxy Brown's rap on it. There's versions that don't have it because certain radio stations wouldn't play the rap version.
They did that with TLC. At this point, they were the highest selling female group of all time. And, they would take Left Eye's verse out of No Scrubs. So it's been honestly a long road of trying to get this to acceptance and a certain level of corporatization. Now it's just kind of gone overboard, to the point where like, kind of goes into the conversation we just had about Jay-Z and Target. But those opportunities weren't a thing maybe even 20 years ago.
I agree with you guys, and I agree with Lord Jamar in general, but I the way that he phrased it a little bit in the sense of like talking about how his generation was only for one thing and how the newer generation is only for one thing. I think the newer generation is a lot larger, and I think there is a large generation of younger, newer hip-hop artists, and the culture still exists where it still does kind of live by the same type of principles that it did back then as well. I think it's just more prominent, or because of the popularity and because of the corporation that the focus is one specific thing as opposed to maybe the stuff that we would typically listen to from like younger artists nowadays.
To his point, like, the huge influence that the nation used to have in the music and stuff back in the 80s and early 90s, the Nation of Islam, that is, when you used to have groups like X-Clan, et cetera, And now when you listen to most hip hop, like when artists are signed with major labels or whatever, their creative control is gone, I think, for a lot of the records, and all the kids are being sold for the most part is criminality in the records, you know what I mean? So like you had options of what to listen to. You could listen to NWA, you could listen to Poor Righteous Teachers, you could listen to, you know, and you could listen to Kendrick, you know what I mean? You have that option, but it's not pushed to your forefront in the same vein that Jeezy, Gucci, and Future, and I hate to, you know, call them people out because I enjoy their music as well, but it's like you don't have the same amount of options in today's world as you did back then.
When people were trying to take on like a kind of a teacher point of view back then, that's where the term conscious rap actually came from, because people had knowledge of self, and they were trying to hip you to how to be a better you, and how to, you know what I'm saying, black people can come together and rise community wise, things of that nature. I think everybody in here is a Rakim fan. He's considered a conscious rapper because he kicked knowledge, so to speak. And the main people now that people listen to aren't people that's kicking knowledge. So I think that's what Lord Jamar is kind of talking about as far as the generation he came from versus what's more popular now. But I mean, things evolve.
Yeah. All right. Number 2.
In my era, hip hop was a talent show. Nowadays, hip hop is a popularity contest. My era had more talented artists, more original artists, more lyrical artists, more profound artists. And the way they got on was through displaying their talent. Now, it's all about, you don't have to be super dope. So you got a lot of people out here who are not as talented, but they're famous because of their popularity.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Once again, he's absolutely right. We talked about it on this show to where, you know, people are not even trying to exploit your talent anymore. They're just trying to monetize your viral moments. You know, when you look at, you know, I don't want to call anybody's name, but like, in fact, I'll just take it back since he's talking about his era. When you look at the older artists who are still able to come out here and get money, and as someone who's older, I'm glad that, you know, we've gotten out of this thing to where, no, we don't want to see those older artists anymore. No, we can still go see Wu-Tang Clan and Public Enemy and Big Daddy Kane and LL Cool J. They can still get on stage and do their thing because they were that talented. The whole thing was they had to be good showmen to even break through. You know, now we're in an era where you're popular. If you are, you know, popping, you got a good social media situation happening. You know, even if you're whack, people aren't going to boo you. You know, so, you know, your popularity will be enough for you to get cheered. And, you know, and if you boo or say something bad about somebody's show, you're almost seen as a hater. Even if it's whack.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't like all of his framing there when he was framing, because I generally agree with everything you said and everything he said, except for when he said this era doesn't have as much talent and things of that nature, and that's just not true. There's a plethora of talent right now. It just doesn't get highlighted. So
personalities are being sold rather than talent.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, your personality is going to sell your song, it's going to sell your merch, et cetera, for the most part. Not necessarily your music. It's only a handful of artists that actually their talent is actually what's selling their product.
Yeah. I do agree with him as far as the whole talent show thing, because even if I think back to when we were younger, being the best in a talent show meant a lot. You know what I'm saying? Being able to go to a talent show and compete and actually win, you was the man if you could do that.
Hell, I can't tell you the last time I saw a talent show.
That's what I'm saying. This was back when we were younger. Those type of situations don't even exist anymore. But like, you wanted to be better than whoever else was going to take that stage. You didn't want to be looked at as the same. You didn't want to be compared to them. You wanted to stick out as far as your artistry was concerned. I will say I will give him some P's on that. But in the same token, even back then, a corporate record company was still trying to make another artist be identical to the ones that were successful, even if they were good at their craft.
Sure.
So a lot of people actually compromised their artistry and their talent to fit a mold because a record company told them this is what you have to do in order for us to put out your record. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that he's saying that hold a lot of merit and are true. I do agree with you as far as there are a lot of people or artists right now with immense talent, right? But there's so many. The difference between now and then is you had to either have some backing or know somebody with some money in order to even be invited or put in a situation to where you could record your music. Now anybody, well, not anybody, but a lot of people, a whole lot more people than back then, anybody has the opportunity to create and record their music, and it actually breeds a different type of artist because now all of this is at your fingertips. You don't have to worry about where's the money coming from for me to record this, or how am I going to obtain this piece of equipment. I mean, you still got to get equipment, but it's nowhere near as expensive as it was back then. Sure. And there's a lot of people that were successful from back then that people can look at and take from. So, I mean, that kind of goes hand in hand with there being more generational talent right now, but I feel like they are still trying to emulate the artists that have made it.
It's still a popularity contest either way.
Yeah. I mean, but you know, when you think about, once again, I'm going back to that era because I was right there when it happened. The people who were on TV and on radio, by and large, I'm not going to say there wasn't some bullshit that made it through because there's bullshit in every era.
Always.
But by and large, the people who we have an affinity for from that era, it's because they were really good. You know, like now.
It's the same for me though, right now.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, because I have, you know, I know everybody was like, oh, y'all are all on Kendrick, whatever. I have an affinity for Kendrick because his records are good. You know, and he's of this era, whether or not you want to believe it or not. He's had a hell of a run, but he's of this era.
Does Tom tell like some people that we thought were talented though, that, you know, as time progressed, you hear those records and you like, yeah, it was dope for that time, but now it's like, what the are they talking about?
Now I have to also claim here, like he's kind of referencing his eras between 85 and 95 in between that era.
One person that sticks out in my head around that time is somebody that I thought was really dope around that time.
MC Hammer?
No, I still love MC Hammer. Oh, even though I'm not even talking about his bars, just his showmanship. Mm-hmm. There's not been a showman since, as far as hip hop goes.
There's no argument
since Hammer.
here.
Yeah.
No.
Keith Murray. Like, what the was he talking about? He was just using a lot of big words over Eric Sermon production that was, and it was fire at the time.
That's
cocaine.
Yeah. But like now, I'm like, man, okay, I don't want to hear that shit no more.
The most beautifulest.
Yeah.
I mean, but that was kind of a pocket at one point in time. Rappers that weren't rapping about shit, but rapping like DOS Effects.
Ghostface, Supreme Clientele.
Yes.
But nobody does it like Ghost.
Sure. I'm not saying that, but go back and decipher the lyrics on One and Nutmeg.
Mm-hmm.
Like Camp Low.
Yeah.
What the were they talking about?
I don't know, man.
But it jams.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
It's wild you say DOS Effects, because even though it was like the whole stickety rickety, like, you know, like that was a thing.
Yeah.
And people was running, but even though by the time it got to like, I think it was the third album, I can't remember the name of the third album.
I don't know them to have 3 albums.
Yeah, but like, I love DOS Effects. DOS Effects was my group.
Yeah, they was cool, but you ain't listening to them right now.
I will, but that's different. I am from. I remember he put out some joints in '95 that was hot to me.
Okay.
Yeah, Pete Rock was on the production. Yeah.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
No, it was some people back then that was dropping some Boo Boo. I mean, I ain't gonna front. RZA was dropping Boo Boo before he got with Wu-Tang. We ain't gonna sit up here in front like everybody back then from that era was untouchable on the mic. They was dropping some bullshit too.
We love you, Rakim.
Yeah. bullshit.
There was a group called the Afros.
Yeah. Afrolytics was a tight song though. I'll give them that.
Yeah, the Afros. Oh, I mean, there was all kind of little groups like that.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's not on the nostalgia tour.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, claim number 3.
Foundational Black Americans created hip hop. Other cultures participated in it, but had no part in the creational aspect of the art form. When I say foundational Black Americans, I mean Black people that lived here in America, especially from the New York City area. Many will say the Bronx, but a lot of people will say it was around all parts of New York City at that time. That we are the ones, even though there were other people around us, Puerto Ricans and Jamaicans and any other people, you know, that could have been around us, we were the ones that started this and drove the culture.
I would have to actually talk to a historian in order to verify that. I can't personally speak from that because I wasn't in New York at the time. But as far as the elements of hip hop that were created, from my understanding, people from South Jamaica, Queens, Puerto Ricans, of course, Black people that were born in America are the core foundation of what hip hop is today. So
Right.
I can't really, unless somebody knows somebody from back then that can 100% say that it was only created by this pocket or these Black Americans, I can't really just exclude the Jamaican Americans and the Puerto Ricans.
But I've heard, I mean, I guess it depends on like when you talk about hip hop specifically, right? Because I've heard the argument that the breaking was very heavily
Puerto Rican.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
as
if
far as elements.
so if that's a part of hip hop, then that goes into that argument, right?
I understand where people are coming from with these things, but I also say that when you're talking about the art, you're talking about the music, the emceeing, the dance, a lot of these things are the culmination of Black American culture. When you talk about, you know, the break beats, these are break beats from rock, from jazz, from R&B, from funk records. These are all forms of Black music.
Yep.
And from foundational Black Americans. And I know some people feel some kind of way, because the thing is, look, I am not here to dismiss the contributions of my Puerto Rican brothers and sisters, anybody Jamaican, anybody who comes from any part of different parts of this melting pot that is New York. But when it comes down, like there is a buildup of Black American culture, and it comes to a point where it is hip hop, and it's kind of like, look, just because I'm in the kitchen when my mother pulls out the turkey on Thanksgiving, and someone asked me, "Hey, did you cook dinner?" And it's like, no, I say, yeah, I cooked dinner. No, I was there when my mother pulled the turkey out of the oven. That doesn't mean I cooked the dinner.
That's a participant, though.
Yeah,
right?
I can. So when you break it down like that, yeah, if you were just in the kitchen, but when we're talking about elements of hip hop and things that certain individuals were 100% participating in. So if we go down to emceeing and actually the DJing aspect of it, yeah, that's 100% Black African American culture.
Can't say that either.
You can though, because they were the if you think about the first person that was doing break beats, he's 100% Black African.
Who was the first person
American
to do that?
As far as
juggling? Well, the first person to do funk related juggling and stuff was Kool Herc, right?
Yeah. So Kool Herc, and I think about Grandmaster Flash at the same time. So
he's Black.
He's Black, but he's also Barbadian. You know what I mean? So,
but they didn't bring that from Barbados here.
Nah.
Yeah,
they were living here and being influenced by foundational Black Americans.
Yeah. So, like, if you have to break it down into those elements that created hip hop. Now, everybody knows that certain elements aren't at the forefront right now. What it remains as, but in the same token, I can't 100% say that it was only created by foundational Black Americans, because I wasn't there. I'm just going off what was said, but I know the people that were involved with it are definitely from Black descent. Because even if you talk about Puerto Ricans have Black, you know what I'm saying, descent in them. Jamaicans, obviously. if we're coming down to the core of everything, yeah, it was, but you still had different nationalities involved with it at the same time.
But the myth is that MCing, it came from dance hall culture. You know what I mean? Like dance hall, whoever it was, that would be who would be on the mic calling out things or whatever, and that it transformed into
Coke La Rock doing it at parties. Yeah.
So that's just what I was brought up to understand. You know what I mean? Like we picked that up, and then they turned into hip hop.
But we didn't call it hip hop, but we didn't call it hip hop. But when Ali was talking shit,
He was rapping.
When James Brown he says the word rapping, the term rap is something that predates hip hop.
True indeed.
It was like, oh yeah, I got my rap from so and so.
Yeah.
Like there are things that you can tie directly.
Well, you're taking all it back to that. Yeah,
like I said,
beans and cornbread.
Like I said, you're talking about pig meat Markham, and you can really take it back and say this definitely came from that. And like I said, I don't want anyone to feel excluded because it's for everybody now. But like I don't know. This is a thing where in the past few years, all of a sudden, everybody's wanted to take credit for the creation of hip hop because it's so grand now that. No, we did this too. It was like, but I remember when hip-hop...
They all lived in the same neighborhoods, though.
True.
That's the reason why I say that.
But it's supposed to start in the Bronx. What, Sedgwick Avenue?
Sedgwick, yeah. But and like I said, I it's the same thing. You may have been there when the turkey was taken out of the oven, but that doesn't mean you made Thanksgiving
True
dinner.
Indeed. And the real question, who the fuck cares? It don't matter.
Well, this is we talked about this before, and I said this is one of the things that when marginalized people are given flags, it's one of the worst things that's happened to us here in America because all of a sudden, like, there are times when Jamaicans or Nigerians or Dominicans is like, first of all, like, we were all on different parts of the boat and got dropped off at different times. But for whatever reason, like,
you want to be the first.
Dominicans,
you hit it first.
There are Dominicans that think, okay, well, they get into that I know black thing, and then there are Puerto Ricans who like to say the N-word, but will tell you that they're Spanish.
Yeah.
And it's like Spanish is what you speak. That's not who you are.
Right.
So I mean, there's a very deep conversation that comes with all of this.
A lot of semantics.
And it makes people uncomfortable a lot of times because they have to really wrestle with a lineage that they don't want to really be a part of until it's something to celebrate. They want to be a part of black. They don't want to be a part of anything that is black culture until it's like something like hip hop.
This conversation kind of diminishes what it is a little bit and where it comes from because it allows the question to be like, well, maybe it's not black culture, maybe white people, maybe we actually did bring it. Maybe hip hop is white culture,
That's funny.
We were there, we corporatized it. You know what I mean? Like it opens up that conversation to kind of like, to Jay's point, to make something be more of a conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah.
So.
Well, sometimes we have to talk about it just in order to create a conversation and say some different things. But I mean, I actually do think that some people had more than just a participation amount of inclusion to do with hip hop. If we break it down by
you could have made some sides with the turkey.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, for sure.
But they were all people of color.
Yeah.
I mean, white's a color. All right, so all right, last one here.
Is it?
I'm not clear.
But it's supposed to be, ain't that the absence of color? White, by definition, white is the absence of color.
That is white.
Yeah.
All right. It's a color.
Okay.
We're being racist towards me. No, all right. Last claim here by Lord Jamar.
Old school hip hop had more positive message. New school hip hop has little, I'm not going to say none, few positive messages as opposed to old school hip hop. I'll go from the golden era, right? If you want me to pick a time frame, I'll say from 85 to about 95.
I can't agree with that. It's just what's being sold. I think that's what I said earlier. It's what's being propped up and positioned to the people to consume more than whatever else is. Like the positive messages, they don't get the same shine that the destructive ones do.
I think there's always been an element of positivity in hip hop. You know, is there someone who's shining a light on it? It's a little bit harder to do now because honestly, the gangster shit and the songs celebrating failure just sounds so much better. You know, I mean, and I stand by what I said last week, that Young Miami's, you know, Spin It, that is a song, is full on celebration of failure. But there was, you know, when he says 85 to 95, the waters get a little muddy because there was a lot of gangster shit in that time that really had no positive redeeming value as far as like, okay, I can put this on for my kids and we can have a discussion about it. Like I even think about like the first NWA album versus the second one. The first one, there weren't even curse words on every song. And you could say, okay, even a song like F the Police that's protest music. You know, that's a hyper, you know, masculine, super, I don't even know what the words are to use, but a version of protest music came out of the 60s. You can draw a direct line. There's no direct lines you can draw to the second NWA album. That is just misogyny and violence. You know, even though I believe it's Dr. Dre's some of his best work sonically. And so that's in that era of 85 and 95.
Now, let me ask the question of creative control. They weren't necessarily signed when they created that first album.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of that was created before they became Ruthless Records or before they signed a major deal. Right. And then when they signed a major deal, then you get this second album that is nothing. There's no redeeming qualities from that album. Do you think that was by design or do you think that's just what they chose to do?
I think it was what they chose to do, but you can say it's by design because after NWA came out, everybody decided they want to start cursing on records. Like I remember Run DMC's album, you know, Back from Hell. They had a song called The Ave. And I was like, why is Run DMC cussing so much? And I think it was a thing where they felt like they had to keep up with NWA. And so like NWA said, okay, if you guys are going to take it to 10, we're going to take it to 20. You know, so I think it was the marketplace. I think it was the financial aspect at the time is like, okay, if we're going to be NWA, let's go all out.
Shock value.
And, you know, and also when I talk about how that album has no redeeming value, I think part of it is because the humor and part of the consciousness of that group who was Ice Cube was no longer there.
It had a whole lot to do with it because if you think about what he produced after he left NWA, it was still along those same lines.
Yeah,
it was just with different production. So yeah, I think I agree with you on that. As for 85 to 95, there was a lot of bullshit that was put out, and not all of it was positive. Like if you think about,
we got the Chronic and Doggy Style in there.
Yeah, all of that was grouped into that time. That's definitely more positive than NWA's second album. You had a lot of SIBO shit coming out. You had a whole lot of what's his name? Talking about killing and chopping people up.
Brother Lynch.
There was another cat, I can't remember his name. Even Ghetto Boys had some shit that they wasn't talking about nothing.
Yeah. No,
you know what I'm saying? When Scarface went off on his own, it was more introspectful from his point of view. But not to take anything away from the Ghetto Boys, because they had some positive message. They actually had one of the songs that did display emotion as far as being depressed and seeing shit. Things are
mental health.
You know what I'm saying? Mental health type situations. But like, I think everybody feels like the era that they came up with is better than the era that comes after them. That's just how it goes. But now I can, from the lens of successful, good hip hop, I would probably say between 90 to 2000 to see like how it evolved into being something that people were really involved in, doing it for the love of, and how it expanded to people doing it and making a whole lot of money, because people weren't making a whole lot of money in hip hop at one point in time. They were doing it for the love of it and for the messages that they were spreading and things of that nature, but it evolved into something else. So I think about 85 to 95, I think you have to add a little bit more to it than just excluding those 10 years, because there was a lot of bullshit in that 10 years too.
Because I think a lot of times, especially when you talk to people of a certain age, and I'm close to that era but people will say, yeah, we had the Message with Melly Mel, and then Public Enemy came out, and then the West Coast came with gangsta shit, and everything fell apart. Like it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't like that.
Nah.
Hey, Paris was from out west too.
So was Cam.
Yeah.
So was Ice Cube. Because as hard-headed as America's Most Wanted is, it's still a political record.
Yeah, it's definitely political.
There's nothing political about the second NWA record.
Nah.
I'm still going to say that I'm still going to push back it in general, just because I think there's good and bad in every era.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of positive messaging right now. I would say that I would probably make the argument that hip hop is more positive and it's more inclusive to feelings and emotions in general right now than it has ever been. You have a wide variety of a genre of artists that are a lot more comfortable with expressing stuff, probably. And again, it's not really controversial, but to some people it will be, because hip hop is a little less homophobic as it used to be.
This is true.
And, to have feelings, even Lord Jamar said, even in this interview, even in the first thing, he was like, that's, you're making fun of people of having emotions and being able to express it. And to say that that's white people shit is essentially saying that black people aren't supposed to have emotions. This is kind of what it is to some degree.
And it's also a thing where we're just now getting to a point where honestly, black people are a lot more open about going to therapy. About actually saying, hey, instead of just telling someone who's depressed is cheer up. No, that doesn't help someone who's clinically depressed.
No,
and I think there are people who are of Lord Jamar's era who have a hard time with that. It was well, what are all these emotions and people talking about their feelings, and you're just supposed to go to work and come home and just
soft.
Drink yourself to sleep. I struggle with that. I probably should have gone to some sort of therapy after some of the things that have happened to me in the past few years, and I haven't. And I know the way I have dealt with it is probably not particularly healthy. But I mean,
right.
I don't want to talk to nobody about this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not in that place. But I think what's great about the younger generation is that there is not that same stigma around mental health and actually getting the help that you need from, sitting down and talking to somebody.
Yeah, I think too, though, the difference. I think what he's trying to say, and I could be wrong, is more of the positive hip hop at one point rose to the top versus it being separated from just the party and bullshit. Right now, it's a whole lot more party and bullshit.
Sure, that's
but
fair.
there is more positive things out there if you go looking for it.
That's what I was.
So you have to look for it now versus it's not fed to you, it's not given to you.
And I think that the phrase positive has changed meanings throughout the generations too, because what we could view as positive now is affirmational and, taking care of yourself internally and things like that. It's, so I feel like it's changed. So yeah, I get that, but I feel like the definitions are different.
To Terry's point, man, or the Diff's point, you could be lazy as a consumer back in the day.
Yeah.
Because they had different channels for you to actually see what it was that was quote unquote positive. So there was a thing such as Rap City where you got everything. You got the positive, you got the BS, you know what I mean? You got just the
choice is
party
yours.
stuff. Yeah, you got anything you wanted. You got a cornucopia of hip hop. You know what I mean? MTV Raps as well. And then once they got rid of Rap City and all you got was 106 and Park, you got these select 10 records, maybe 12 if they played some other ones, and that's all you had to choose from. You know what I mean? So you didn't.
And those were all radio records at the end of the day.
For the most part, you know what I mean? So you weren't given the option to like choose from different records or whatever. And then you had the evolution of like BET Jams and stuff where they just play all hip hop all day. But even that was a cycle of X amount of records. You know what I mean?
Because like at one point, VH1 Soul and BET Jams were incredible.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was like, let's see if we can get a few commercials in here.
Yep.
And then they had a rotation the same way your favorite radio station had a rotate. So like it became, I remember I got the first time I got cable when I was an adult, I was like, okay, I got to get the package that has, VH1 Soul on it.
Yeah, because you just let that ride.
You could you could have people over and just let it ride.
Thanks for tuning in to episode 490 of the New Old Heads podcast. We appreciate your support. Be sure to like and subscribe on our YouTube channels, Patreon as well. You can join by being a $5 member. You can also join on YouTube by contributing to the page and seeing extra exclusive footage. Till next time, we'll see you. Peace.